Today we're playing Shoken, the Forever Man, until we win. I don't like this game. I don't like this game at all. It is by far one of the most difficult games I've ever played in my entire life. Battletoads got nothing on Shoken, the Forever Man. Now this is a 2D action platformer with the main character, Chakan. He's some sort of ultimate swordsman. He challenged death to a duel and won, and now he's immortal, but the immortality comes with a price, and he's doomed to walk all of existence until all evil is eradicated. And I don't know what's going on. The story's so hard to follow because it's told from this first-person point of view that's all, I don't know, through this emo filter. It's really kind of weird. When I say this game is harder than Battletoads, I mean it. Now at first I saw the game and it was just a nice little action platformer with this cool little sword move, but it turns out that this game is evil. Pure evil. I'm told it's easier on the easy mode, duh, but I played it on the hard mode, because I'm Jason, and I'm an idiot. There are a few things that make Shoken difficult. First, the platforming is ridiculous. If you could see where you were going, then it wouldn't be that hard, but during 90% of the game, you can't see a damn thing. If you want to advance to another part of the stage, usually you'll be forced to jump into the unknown, which means you're going to die, and die, and die a lot, until you memorize exactly where everything is. Second, on hard mode, you're incredibly weak. You've only got about 5 hits before you die, and with small enemies everywhere, you're gonna get hit a lot. It also doesn't help that the bosses can take off multiple units of health. Third, there's a damn time limit on each level. Finally, this game is unforgiving. There is zero leeway when it comes to your hitbox. You've got to have pixel-perfect moves to get through each level. Of course, as usual, I've got some tips that will help you beat this game. First, take advantage of your immortality. While getting hit enough will kick you back out of a level, you can play that level as much as you want until the time limit runs out. Eventually, you're gonna play the level enough to know where everything is. Second, you've got magic and you need to take advantage of it. In fact, you've got a pretty large arsenal of spells that you can conjure up. The most useful, though, are the health and time spells. The health spell replenishes your hit points, and the time spell resets the timer. Third, you've got this killer sword spin move. At first, it just seems like this neat little thing that the developers threw in, but it turns out it's almost necessary to use it for 2 reasons. It has a longer range than your sword normally has, and while you're spinning with the sword attack, you're invulnerable. Just don't get too cocky, because the spin attack doesn't last that long, and after it's done, you can get hit again. Next, take it easy. You don't have to rush through a stage. In fact, if you take your time, you'll be able to live longer. Don't worry about running out of time, though, because the game gives you plenty of leeway here. There are also a bunch of weapons to collect in this game outside of the sword you start with. The grappling hook lets you swing onto some areas, and this becomes extremely important in the later levels. The hammer lets you break some floors and walls. You can swing downward to break floors by holding up as you swing, and then while you're swinging, press down. The scythe and the axe aren't used too much, but they allow you to break through walls and cut through various things, like spider webs. Now, I know I said you have an arsenal of magic that you should use, but don't be tempted to use it all of the time. Conservation is key to success in this game. Magic can be used to occasionally make the game easier, but it's not necessary to finish the game. Now, as far as spells are concerned, there are 12 in this game, but you're really only going to use about 5 of them. You make spells by combining the red, green, blue, and clear potions together, which you collect during the rest of the game. Which spells are important? The Eye makes you invincible for a short period of time, and this is one of the most invaluable spells, especially when you're fighting the bosses. The Flame gives you a sword that shoots fire. The Boots give you the ability to jump very high. The Health spell restores your hit points, and the Hourglass restores your time. The other spells, while they're useful, really don't come into play during the rest of the game. You You can use them if you like to tinker around with the engine though. Alright, this game is broken up into two parts, the terrestrial and the elemental levels. Now you can't access the elemental levels without first beating the terrestrial ones, so we'll start there. You actually find your weapon in the terrestrial levels, the axe, the scythe, the hammer, and the grappling hook. The only problem is, if you run out of time during any of these phases, you'll lose the weapon you acquired, forcing you to go back and find it again. And when this happens in the water level with the grappling hook, chances are you're going to want to go back immediately to get it because the grappling hook is the single most important weapon in the game. Now, aside from the platforming, it's really not that difficult. All you have to remember are a few key points in each level. In the Earth dimension, there are these tentacle monsters that hang from the ceiling. Try as you might, you cannot kill them, and if you get too close, they'll attack you. So what do? Wait until after they've tried to attack you, and then hit them with your sword. While they're flashing, you'll be able to walk right on by. This tip works for almost every enemy in the game. If you hit them and they start to flash, they won't cause you any damage. That really comes in handy, especially against the bosses. In the first Earth stage, you'll get the axe. Now it's guarded by this wicked difficult spider monster. Thankfully, you can just jump right over it and grab the axe to end the level. Otherwise, fighting this guy is a real pain, and I never really figured out how you're supposed to beat him, so I just skip it. In the second part of the stage, you'll find that there's this blue orb that teleports you out of the level almost immediately. Just swing your newly acquired axe to destroy it and continue on. The level itself is unremarkable. You have to kill a thing called a Spytor at the end, but he's fairly easy to beat. Just stick out your sword and let him kill himself. Now the third part of this Earth terrestrial dimension is pretty tricky. You've got to face the Spider Queen. Your best bet is to use the axe or to use the spinning sword jump. The axe does more damage, and you could potentially pin her up against the wall and let her walk into your weapon. It works, sometimes, but your safest bet is the minor invulnerability with your spin attack. In the water dimension, you're going to acquire the grappling hook, and it is by far the most useful weapon in the game. Now the platforming in this stage really isn't that difficult. The only thing you have to keep an eye out for are the dozens and dozens of tiny monsters everywhere. If you don't spin jump your way through the entire level, chances are you're gonna die a lot. Now eventually you're gonna run into a wall of seaweed, or coral I think, actually. I'm not sure what it is. Anyway, you won't be able to jump past it. Head backwards in the level and you'll find this octopus looking thing. Attack him with your axe for a quick kill, and then move on to collect your grappling hook. By the way, you're going to run into that wall of coral a couple of times in the water dimension. All it means is that you got to backtrack and find an octopus to kill. The second part of the level is just straight platforming. You'll have to keep your eyes open for the small little buggers that like to hit you without you seeing them, but mostly you just have to run through the level. You may find that you'll need the high jump in this area, but by now you should have collected enough potions to cast that spell anyway. Now the third stage, that's a pain in the butt. At first it seems like a maze and you'll run around wondering where the heck you're supposed to go, only to realize that you've got nowhere to go. Yeah, time runs out and you get to go through the water dimension all over again. Isn't that fun? I learned how to get through this one the hard way. You'll run around until time runs out and be left scratching your head wondering what the heck you're supposed to do. Well, if you skip going in and out of the doors, you can simply walk to the left until you come to a large gold wall. Grapple your way to the platform at the top, and jump your way past the gold wall. By the way, this may take a few tries. It's a very tricky jump. After that, you'll be faced with another wall of coral, and this time you actually don't need to backtrack. Instead, you need to jump up and grab the fish eyes from the statue. Then the wall will fall and you'll be able to fight the level boss, the Mantis. Now, I think there's an easy way to beat this guy, but I haven't been able to pull it off. If you stand in the lower right corner of the screen and hold your weapon out, you'll be able to hit the Mantis several times, but not enough to do any real damage. Personally, I just whip out the swords and go to town with my double jump. The fire dimension. Yeah, at first it seems like a nice little platformer. In the first level, you'll actually grab the scythe. But as you progress later and later into the fire dimension, you'll notice that it is no joke. Yeah, sure, the earth dimension was tough because of all the small little things walking around. But the fire dimension takes platforming to another level. The first phase isn't anything special. Just go through the level until you find the scythe. The trick here is just staying alive until you can reach the end. The second phase is when things start to get crazy hard. You're expected to grapple your way over 2 pits of lava while monsters fly at you from every angle. Your best bet is to spin attack with the grappling hook. It's going to make dealing with the ledges a little more difficult, but at least you'll have some health left so you can get to the end of the stage. Now the third phase is simple. All you have to do is climb up and beat the boss. Well, it would be simple if the boss was easy, but she's not. She's a pain. I could give you some tips on how to beat her, but really, this is all about rote memorization. She has this wicked pattern that if you don't remember what she's going to do, she's going to grind you to a pulp. You're probably going to have to play through this level a few times before you beat her. Sorry. Now the next dimension, the air dimension, really wore me out. I mean, there are so many ways to die here. In the first stage, all you have to do is jump up until you reach the platform made of gold bricks. Kill the purple beast guarding the gate, break open the gate with your axe, and grab the hammer. Easier said than done though, because there's nothing underneath you preventing you from falling straight to your death, so good luck. Now the second phase is actually pretty easy. Just always try to head up and you'll eventually come across a purple beast with a flail. Kill him and the stage is over. The next area, the level boss, the purple dragon, is so ungodly difficult I don't even know where to begin. The problem here is that you're on a very narrow platform in the middle of nowhere. If you fall off, you fall into the void below and die. You're going to have to jump up a lot to avoid the dragon's attacks. You're also going to have to jump up, so do your spin attack so you can hit the dragon. You've got to do all this jumping while not falling to your death. I'm really not quite sure how the developers expected you to do this. It's extremely difficult. Believe me, I've never found a good pattern for avoiding and attacking him while not falling into the gaping maw below. Just when you think you've figured out his pattern, things change on you. His timing changes, he gets faster, and where he attacks changes. Of course, if you miss a jump, I guarantee that you're going to die. A lot. So that's it, you've beaten the terrestrial domain, the game's over, right? Right? No, you silly person, you. The game's just getting started. Now you've got to go through the elemental domain. The elemental domains. How do I describe this plane of hell? Well, imagine if you forced a blind man to play I Wanna Be the Guy, and you basically have the difficulty of the elemental plane. Why is it so much more difficult than the rest of the game? I imagine it has something to do with the fact that you can't see anything. Alright, let's start off with the fire domain. Now, unlike the other levels, the only thing you need to do in this second set of levels is to find a teleport at the end of the stage. There are no bosses to fight, there's no BS to go through, no potions you have to find, no weapons you gotta get. Just find the teleport. 3 stages of this, and you get to fight the domain boss. The trick with the fire level is that you need to have perfect jumps. And I mean perfect jumps. If you're even 1 pixel off, your ass is going into the lava and you're dead. Good luck, go back to the beginning and try again. The flame demons you'll run into this entire level aren't anything too difficult to get by. Just stick your sword out and you'll kill them in 1 hit. The problem arises when they start flying in multiple waves. You'll hate life when this happens. Your best bet is to use invincibility when this happens so you can just walk right by them. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're going to die a lot here. In the fire stage, the game just expects you to jump off a ledge in a leap of faith that you're gonna land somewhere safe. And 9 times out of 10, you're not. You're gonna end up in lava or going down a gaping maw. good luck. The final fire stage is a real pain, and the only way you're going to get through it is through trial and error. If you're running low on health, your best bet is to just die and try the level again. Save your potions for the stage boss. The boss is a black dragon, and my god is he hard to kill. He'll shoot fireballs. Just move away to avoid getting hit by them. Slice the dragon with a spin attack and it'll fall to the ground. Jab him a second time while he's on the ground, and repeat the process 18 times. Yeah, I forgot to mention this before, but the bosses in this game take 18 hits to kill. That is wholly unreasonable. The Earth dimension can be a problem. You're gonna need your grappling hook and a lot of potions to get through the final 3 stages here. For the most part, it's all simple platforming. In the second stage, there's a rather large monster-looking thing that'll grab you and send you back to the beginning of the level. The best way to deal with him is to go under the platform where you can't pass, jump up on a branch, use the invisibility spell, and then quickly move to a branch where you can hang from. Wait for the monster to leave the screen, and then climb up. Now in the final level, you'll get to fight the huge monster that you just avoided. The fight is why you'll want a really good supply of invincibility potions. I never really figured out a good way to kill this guy. The best option I came up with is to turn invincible, rush up to his gut, and stab him a few times. 18 hits and he should be dead. You're also going to need a few invincibility potions for this fight. The air dimension. Oh. This one was fun at first, but the fun quickly wears off. You see, you get to ride these flying horse-looking things called Synards. Now, they're pretty cool at first. I mean, you don't fly for the rest of the game, but in this level, you get to fly. The problem is that as soon as you touch anything, you go flying off of your horse. And that sucks when you're 100 feet in the air. Anyway, the name of the game is to ride the Synards to the end of the level. The levels can be kind of confusing here, especially if you aren't paying attention to where you're going, but they're actually pretty small, so you can find the exit mostly by trying to go up and to the right. Oh, and keep an eye out for these damn towers. I hate them. The guys in the bird's nest shoot bullets at you, and the flashing lines are actually lasers that'll hurt you. You can disable the lasers by hitting the guys in the bird's nest 3 times, but they're really hard to hit, and they have a long recovery time. Eventually, you'll come up to the air dimension boss, Synard Rider. Let me level with you here. I hate this guy, because he takes forever to kill. His pattern's actually pretty simple. He'll wait around for you to do something, then try to avoid you. If you just sit around waiting for him, he'll take out his lance and charge you. Once he's charging you, you duck under him and smack him with the sword. It's a pretty simple pattern. The problem is he still takes 18 hits to kill, and it takes a while for him to get out his lance. And 9 times out of 10, you're probably gonna run out of time before you beat this guy. I don't know what else to tell you, man. If I could take a moment to address the developers directly, if any of you are out there, I'd like to know why 18 hits? 18 hits is a lot of hits, especially for these end bosses because they take a long time to beat, and they're only vulnerable for a very short period of time. The rest of the time they're invincible or they're kicking your ass. It's a real problem in this game too because you've got a very limited amount of time during these stages. You're going to go through the time spell a lot. And on top of that, you're probably going to need the time spell just to beat some of these bosses. Why 18 hits? What, 3 wasn't good enough? These weren't hard enough bosses? Alright, one more stage, the water dimension. And this one is almost as difficult as the fire dimension. It relies on the same gimmick too, not letting you see where you're going to land before you take a leap of faith off an edge. You're going to fall into the frozen underground lake so many times, your controller is going to take its own leap of faith out the window. There are 3 tricks to beating this level: the grappling hook, the hammer, and the double jump. To break through the ice below, you're going to need to swing your hammer down. Remember that trick we talked about in the beginning of the video? Doing this on certain parts of the stage will break the floor below you. The grappling hook is amazingly useful in this level because you have to do a lot of grappling moves in order to get through the level. Finally, the double jump will help you immensely when you're trying to float across a frozen lake. The double jump spin attack will help you clear monsters in front of you so you can land safely on the floating ice. Eventually, and I do mean eventually, you'll make it through the stage, and with a lot of trial and error, you'll make it up to the boss, Mother Iguana. Now this one at first confused the hell out of me. I had no idea what I was supposed to do because, as I learned, there's only a very small window of opportunity for you to hit this enemy. Let's get started. Mother Iguana actually has a 3-stage attack, and it's only vulnerable for a short time during the 3rd stage. In the 1st stage of its attack, it's going to run through the snow, kicking up boulders as it goes. You need to double jump over the iguana and the boulders to avoid getting hit. The iguana is going to do this 3 times. After the 3rd time, it will stop, look at you, and fire a laser from its eyes. Immediately after the iguana stops running, double jump in the air, then once you land, immediately double jump again. You'll miss both claws. After it stops, this time it'll fire 3 spikes into the air. If you're quick, you can hit the iguana before it fires the spikes. Not only will that harm the iguana, it'll stop it from firing the spikes. Repeat this 18 times, and eventually the damn thing will go down. Whew, man, now that was a hard game. I must have died 100 times in the fire dimension alone. Wait a second. What the hell is that? Oh shit! What the hell was that? There's a secret ultimate boss at the end of the credits? Who the hell does that? And if I don't beat him, I don't get a second chance, I just get kicked back to the beginning of the game? Are you kidding me? I get one shot at one of the most difficult bosses you've ever faced, and that's it? Oh, hell no, I'm gonna kill this thing. Hello? What the hell? There's no ending? Did the programmers forget to put in an ending? What? There's no ending?